Hello everyone, I'm Rohit and today I'm going to talk about cloud strategy for 2022. So without further ado, let's jump right in. A cloud strategy clearly defines the business outcomes an organization seeks and the path which will help them get there. Having a cloud strategy will enable organizations to implement strategies quickly with fewer delays, thus accelerating business outcomes. As a part of the cloud strategy, CIOs must get sponsorship on investing in cloud as the next step for computing to drive great speed, agility, and innovation. They must use their digital business strategy to justify the investments needed for cloud computing. Digital business requires speed and agility that cloud computing provides, that is available also to a broader set of users through a self-service interface. In this self-service interface, customers help themselves to these cloud services, stimulating creativity and innovation. Organizations that do not have a high-level cloud strategy driven by their business strategy will significantly increase the risk of failure and wasted investment. The cloud strategy must also explore the end objectives and what makes sense for the organization's mission and vision. Buyer's remorse, as it said, is not something an organization can afford when adopting a cloud service because of the high investment cost. As you would with any other expensive product or service, start with a research. What do you want out of it? How will you measure the impact and ROI of a cloud offering? What are the applications that you want to move to the cloud? What is the cost reduction? What are the other benefits that cloud can offer? The key is not to think about it as installing a set of technologies, but instead adopt a cloud service from an outcome perspective. What do you want the cloud to accomplish, and what will the organization gain from the migration? Keep in mind that simply moving things to the cloud does not automatically make them more efficient or meaningful to the business. As you review cloud options and begin to create a cloud strategy, please keep the end goals in perspective. Now let's talk about some stages in cloud strategies. With so many cloud options, including those that implement partial cloud capabilities, it can be sometimes challenging to decide what option is the right one for each organization. It is then vital that technology leaders select the option that aligns perfectly with the goals and needs that they have established. There is value in all approaches to the cloud, whether the strategy is pure cloud or just making your applications cloud ready, depending on enterprise or the organization's end goals. Cloud computing represents one of the most valuable innovations in current IT and business strategies. However, the value of cloud computing is reduced by the inability of many organizations to find the correct mix of cloud that they need. Also, misaligned expectations will cause many cloud projects to fail as well. Cloud-related offerings can range from cloud-enabling technologies to pure cloud offerings. This creates a spectrum of capabilities for organizations to choose from. Whatever option you choose, you can't go wrong, but it needs to support intended value propositions and your organization's objectives. Now let's talk about the different stages in cloud strategies. The first stage is cloud ready. Being cloud ready does not mean cloud adoption. It means modernizing your infrastructure and applications to create a cloud ready environment. This includes technologies such as visualization software, physical servers, WAN networks, implementing Dockers and containers, etc. These tools and strategy form the building blocks to make cloud delivery more reliable, efficient, and agile. Stage 2 is semi-cloud. These technologies in semi-cloud are closer on the spectrum to a true cloud model, but they also lack several key pure cloud attributes such as cloud APIs and usage-based pricing, that is pay-as-you-go model. Organizations that select these technologies or people who choose semi-cloud strategy are less concerned with the benefits of a pure cloud model, but are more concerned with a higher degree of customization and control while attaining some level of virtualization, standardization, modernization, and automation. The stage 3 is public cloud. Public cloud involves taking some applications and infrastructure to the cloud with OEMs such as Oracle Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, etc. Public cloud enables innovation brought about by continuous delivery of new service capabilities. If the business goal is to achieve maximum agility, public cloud options are a good fit. This area of cloud offerings is growing rapidly as many organizations are moving from cloud ready to cloud only model. The final stage is pure cloud. Pure cloud means creating offerings built on top of pure cloud computing. A pure cloud concept helps organizations to move from legacy infrastructure to cloud only IT to accelerate go to market and reduce IT overheads. Now, once we have moved from all the stages and once we know or understand what the different stages are, it's very important for you to evaluate your preference. For any of the stages that you prefer or choose, you have to evaluate them basis organization's needs. For each cloud application or use case scenario you are considering, evaluate it with the first of all its potential benefits. How important are the benefits or rewards that cloud could offer for the use case? For instance, take a use case of building an online site. Cloud could accelerate the deployment, make the application scalable, make it more robust in terms of security, make it more agile, it can make it more resilient. You can also plug and play variables such as API integrations for payments and transactions, etc. But also check for potential risks and challenges for the use case. Ask yourself, what are the potential downsides to using cloud services? For instance, banking or financial service organizations have to consider regulatory and compliance adherence before moving any of their application to the cloud due to their data sensitivity. In other use cases, risks and challenges might be potential vendor lock-in or market immaturity. This technique of evaluating your preference will offer a framework of where and how to provision with the help of the cloud adoption that you are thinking of. Organizations' in-house IT experience or their partnership with the IT managed services provider can help them offset risks and create a path towards organizations' cloud maturity. The next step in the cloud strategy is to define guiding principles for cloud adoption. IT leaders must define a set of high-level guiding principles for the ideal way for cloud adoption. These principles will be unique to each organization, but there are some common principles for guidance, such as point 1. Decentralized service acquisition. In this scenario, the business team that requires a cloud pays the service provider directly, such as marketing team, for instance, requiring Facebook or Adobe cloud services. They will directly pay the vendor for the cloud services that they are using. Now, obviously, the downside of this setup include minimal visibility across business units, minimal visibility to the internal IT team, and limited synergies in contract management and service efficiency. However, for the individual business unit, they are greatly satisfied with these kind of strategies. The second principle is central review distributed cloud service acquisition, which means in this scenario, the business unit submits a proposal or statement of intent to a central team. It could also be your internal IT team. Now, this obviously slows the process and reduces agility, but it prevents proliferation of similar applications, thus avoiding integration problems, and offers more visibility into a business unit's interest and need. The third thing you can have as a principal guideline is centralized cloud service acquisition. In this scenario, which is often the approach taken by a lot of IT departments, there is a central cloud service procurement function, such as buying cloud credits for, let's say, 500 users at once for the whole enterprise. This offers unified cloud efforts but can also lead to unsatisfied business units and purchased items not being used at all. IT must therefore start small, monitor the use case, and scale it as needed. Now that we have talked about the guidelines, the guiding principles, the cloud stages, let's also look at some of the cloud myths that are floating around. Number 1, cloud is always about money. A Gartner survey on reasons to adopt cloud services shows that cost savings amounts to less than 20%. Saving money may end up as one of the benefits, but it is not the topmost reason to adopt cloud. The advice is you should utilize the total cost of ownership and other models on a case-to-case basis and assess the implications of moving from capital expenditure to operating expenditure. Second myth is cloud should be used for everything. Now, cloud is good for organizations where value is placed on flexibility and the business has the ability to consume and pay for only what is needed when needed. Unless there are clear objectives and benefits defined by the organization for moving an application to the cloud, cloud is not a viable option to opt for. Third myth is cloud can replace data centers. Now, being on cloud does not always mean shutting down data centers and moving everything to the cloud. You should look at cloud decisions on a workload by workload basis, understand applications' objectives, and should always avoid taking a all or nothing approach. Fourth myth is migrating to the cloud means you automatically get all cloud characteristics. Many migrations to the cloud are lift and shift rehosting or other movements that do not exhibit cloud characteristics at higher levels. While there are other types of cloud migration like refactoring and rewriting that typically do offer more of these characteristics. You should distinguish between applications hosted in the cloud from cloud services. However, not always in all of the stages you will get the same outcomes. Data on premises is more secure than on cloud. This is like the biggest myth out there that the data that is on premises is more secure because it's under our control than being on cloud. Now, cloud computing is perceived as less secure, but till date there have been very few security breaches in the public cloud. Most breaches still continue to involve on-premises data center environments. This is the reason is that cloud OEMs are constantly updating their security. They are always up to date about latest risks and have the best frameworks for a resilient environment that is offered to all customers. Now, these were just some of the myths about cloud. Obviously, organizations must design a robust strategy and align them with business objectives before initiating their journey to the cloud. In conclusion, innovation is rapidly shifting to the cloud, with organizations employing a cloud-first approach to technology and digital initiatives. As the pressure on moving to the cloud increases, more organizations will create roadmaps that define a need-to-shift strategy. Organizations will consider partnering with managed services provider to embrace the cloud and create a path towards digital transformation. Many organizations have already started their journey towards the cloud. The question is, have you? Let us know it in the comment section below. Thank you for listening to the podcast. You've been such a wonderful audience. For more such content, subscribe to our channel. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good day. Thank you.